Under the shade of a peepal tree, Buddha sat, his gaze fixed on the bustling potter at work nearby. The disciples encircled him, their faces illuminated by curiosity, waiting eagerly for the wisdom that would soon unfold. His eyes, half closed, seemed to hold the depth of entire lifetimes. I knelt before him, a seeker with questions burdening my heart, desperate for clarity. My disciples, Buddha began softly, his voice resonating as though carrying the essence of eternal truth. Let us discuss the self. The self, Buddha continued, is akin to the shadows cast by our bodies, an illusion created by circumstances and perception. The cycle of creation and dissolution teaches us peace, not in perfection, but in acceptance of impermanence, Buddha explained softly. The potter did not pause, his hands gracefully returning to the work, unbothered by the loss of the incomplete shape. The potter shows us, Buddha said, that the act itself holds meaning, not merely the achievement of completion. He taught, Master, is impermanence not sorrowful, knowing what we cherish may one day crumble? A young monk asked hesitantly. Buddha nodded approvingly, his voice steady. Yes, life flows continuously, embodying transformation, rendering the self an ephemeral construct. Our grasp upon the self, Buddha elaborated, is akin to attempting to hold water. It defies permanence and ownership. What do you see in this stone? Buddha asked, a glimmer of curiosity in his expression. I see a stone, I answered, confused at the nature of the question, as it felt like an obvious truth. And yet, is this stone merely a stone? He continued, his tone suggestive, challenging my limited perspective. What else could it be? Master? I queried, tilting my head in confusion. Let go, Buddha advised. Release attachments and illusions, and life will reveal the truth beneath its transient appearances. The banyan tree seemed to sway, gently, as though harmonizing with Buddha's teachings about impermanence and interconnectedness. Buddha smiled with compassion. Burden arises when we resist impermanence, but the potter shapes with acceptance, free from attachments to results. The spinning wheel speaks of cycles, moments passing into one another, yet each moment distinct, carrying its own unique story. He taught. Explain, please, I urged, sensing the depth I failed to perceive. The stone was shaped by rain, wind, and time. Buddha rose slowly, his presence commanding reverence. Yet his humility remained evident in every deliberate movement. The self is like a cloud, Buddha stated calmly. It drifts and changes, but behind it shines the eternal sky. This vessel, once broken, is not a failure, but a step in the cycle toward becoming something anew, Buddha shared. Through accepting what is unfinished, we find peace, not in completion, but in its evolving journey. Buddha enlightened them softly. The potter, sensing the audience nearby, glanced up and offered a modest nod before returning his focus to the wheel. Do you see how his attention lies not in approval or recognition, but in the clay's transformation? Buddha asked them. Buddha's voice lingered in the disciples' minds, a timeless echo urging them toward compassion, understanding, and ultimate awakening. Another day began with the soft glow of dawn spreading across the sky, painting it with hues of warmth and promise. Buddha and his disciples journeyed along a forest path, the morning air crisp with the fragrance of blooming flowers. The rustling of leaves and the chirping of birds created a symphony, harmonizing with the rhythmic sound of their footsteps. Buddha motioned gently, his voice folding over them like the shade under the tree, calming yet stirring contemplation. Does the collapse of a vessel erase its effort, or does it allow the clay to begin anew? He asked. Ananda whispered softly, reflecting aloud. Master, it shows us that impermanence creates possibility, even in moments of perceived loss. Exactly, Ananda, Buddha affirmed. Life holds no loss. only transformations unfolding across time's endless dance. The potter lifted a fresh piece of clay, forming its edges with care, the wheel spinning rhythmically without pause. Find peace, my disciples, not in resisting impermanence, but in trusting the shaping hands that guide each moment, Buddha taught. The potter paused again, silently admiring the formation, then stepped away briefly to gather water for the clay's next stage. In his pause, too, lies purpose. The disciples nodded, their eyes filled with understanding as they observed the strain and exhaustion etched on the merchant's face. To what end do we cling to possessions? Buddha continued. If they hinder our journey and burden our spirit? A disciple named Sariputta stepped forward and asked, Master, how can we free ourselves from such burdens and find true liberation? Buddha smiled gently, his wisdom shining through, and replied, by discerning what truly matters and letting go of unnecessary attachments. He turned back to the merchant and said, Would you permit me to help lighten your load? Even just a little? The merchant hesitated, then nodded, a mixture of curiosity and humility evident in his expression as he stepped aside. Buddha began to remove items from the cart, placing them carefully on the ground, reducing the weight with each motion. The wheel spins forward, just as time does, neither demanding permanence nor resisting change. Let this rhythm guide your thoughts, Buddha advised. The merchant placed his hands on the cart and pushed, finding the task far easier than before. His steps more confident, Buddha turned to his disciples and said, Freedom comes not from holding tightly but from releasing what is not truly needed. The young monks watched each action of the potter now not with confusion, but with clarity, each gesture rich in meaning. We too are vessels upon the wheel of existence, shaped by moments, each impermanent yet offering us transformation, Buddha reflected. The unfinished stories we live are threads woven into life's tapestry, no less valuable than those seemingly complete, Buddha taught. The disciples lowered their heads, bowing not just to Buddha but also to the lessons the potter unknowingly shared. Carry this wisdom, my disciples, into your lives, Buddha said, his voice calm yet carrying an undeniable weight of truth. As the potter continued his work, the disciples dispersed, their hearts stirred, ready to seek peace within life's impermanent tides. The merchant, now sitting by the roadside, asked, Master, how can I learn to let go of my attachments and find peace? Buddha sat beside him and said, Begin by asking yourself, do these possessions bring joy, or do they weigh upon your soul? True wealth, Buddha continued, lies not in what you possess, but in the freedom and contentment within your heart. The merchant nodded slowly, his expression shifting from confusion to clarity as Buddha's words resonated deeply with him. Another day, another walk beside the flowing river. Buddha wandered with his disciples, their feet stirring the soft, damp earth. The air carried the scent of blossoms, their petals scattered across the ground, drifting gently in the river's quiet current. A young monk paused, picking up a flower, its edges curling with the passage of time, its color fading slowly. Master, the monk said, holding the withered flower, is this not a symbol of beauty lost and failure apparent? Buddha took the flower from the monk, his fingers light upon its delicate form, his gaze reflecting infinite compassion. Buddha said, the journey of life is like a mountain ascent. To reach the peak, we must shed unnecessary weight. See how the river embraces the flowers, Buddha continued, nourishing the unseen, carrying life into realms beyond our knowing. The monk watched intently, his eyes lingering on the petals, their journey downstream sparking a reflection deep within. Master, why do we grieve for what fades, when all life must eventually follow this inevitable path of change? The monk asked. Buddha turned to the group, his voice steady and profound. Grief arises from resistance, from clinging to illusions of permanence. The forest opened into a clearing, revealing a vast expanse of rolling hills and distant mountains shrouded in mist. Buddha paused and gestured toward the horizon, saying, "The path is long, but each step taken mindfully leads to awakening. Do not rush," he advised, "for haste is often born of attachment. Walk with awareness, and the journey will fulfill itself." "Master," Ananda said, "should we then surrender to impermanence entirely, without striving for moments of joy or beauty?" he asked. Buddha placed the flower down upon the water, watching as it joined the petals, drifting effortlessly downstream into the wider current. Joy and beauty emerge not in permanence, but in the moments that arise and fade, each fleeting yet infinitely valuable. Buddha said, "The withering of a blossom is not an end, but a continuation, a transformation into new forms of existence." Buddha explained. A child approached and offered Buddha a flower. Her innocent gesture a symbol of pure intention and unconditional love. Buddha accepted the flower with a serene smile, saying, "In this simplicity lies the essence of truth." Unburdened and free, Buddha sat upon the ground, his hand touching the soil beneath him, his posture calm as the earth supporting his form. "Peace lies not in permanence," Buddha answered, "but in embracing the impermanence that connects all forms." Weaving life into unity, Buddha's voice lingered in their minds, a timeless echo reminding them to release, to flow, and to walk with awareness. Another day greeted Buddha and his disciples, the morning light bathing the village in soft hues of gold and rose. The disciples watched the bird disappear into the trees, their hearts lifting with the lightness of its fleeting presence in the sky. Even what fades carries meaning, not in its longevity but in the essence it offers during its transient moments, Buddha explained. The path was lined with blooming flowers, their petals vibrant and fragrant, symbolizing life's fleeting beauty and impermanence. Buddha paused by the pond, his gaze fixed on the reflection of the moon shimmering on the water's surface. A gentle rain began to fall, its droplets blending with the river, nourishing the soil, continuing the cycle of giving and receiving. Each raindrop joins a greater whole, disappearing yet completing its purpose. Just as life itself echoes this interconnected truth, Buddha reflected. True wisdom lies in embracing the pathless journey of life. A disciple, Kassapa, asked earnestly, "Master, how can we walk when there is no defined path to follow?" Buddha bent down and gently plucked a lotus, holding it delicately between his fingers, its beauty profound yet simple. "Each step," Buddha said, "is a moment, each moment a lotus, containing the entire universe within its fragile petals." The day's lesson settled within the disciples' minds, woven into the fabric of their being, guiding their understanding of impermanence. With each step, they felt the connection between their own lives and the petals. The river, the earth, the sky above, the blossoms along the riverbank swayed gently in the breeze, their fleeting presence holding stories that would continue beyond perception. Even as the petals withered and fell, their essence persisted, carried by the currents, nourishing life unseen yet profoundly present. The disciples followed Buddha, their hearts lighter, their spirits open, finding peace within the impermanence that shaped the world around them. Another day began its transformation, fleeting yet infinite, carrying within it the teachings of Buddha and the river's endless flow. Another day, another path wandered. Buddha walked toward the village, his disciples trailing behind, eager for the day's unfolding wisdom. At the village's edge, an elderly weaver sat beside her loom, her hands weaving a cloth far larger than herself. The disciples halted, observing her work with puzzled expressions, noting the vast expanse of fabric unlikely to be completed soon. Kema stepped forward, his voice curious. "Master, why does she weave what she cannot possibly finish within her lifetime?" he asked. Buddha approached the weaver gently, his voice kind and steady. "Tell me, mother, do you weave for your own use?" The weaver paused, her hands resting briefly on the loom, her expression serene. "The cloth is not for me, master," she answered. "It is for those who will carry it forward when I am gone. Continuing the work I cannot complete," she said. The disciples listened intently, their puzzlement shifting to intrigue, awaiting Buddha's interpretation of the weaver's reply. Eager for his teaching, Buddha turned to his disciples, his gaze calm yet penetrating. "Do you see how her story is woven within this cloth? The threads she weaves are not bound by time. Yet her work is rich with purpose beyond its visible end," he explained. Ananda raised his voice, asking softly, "Master, does she not desire to see the cloth finished, to witness her efforts realized fully?" Buddha answered, his tone thoughtful. "Desire for completion often blinds us to the joy found within the act itself. In the weaving, the essence of her work lives not in the finished cloth but in the dedication she offers each thread," Buddha taught. Buddha said, "Walking the pathless path requires trust, not in external signs, but in your own heart and understanding. Do not seek the destination," Buddha advised, "for the journey itself is the destination, and each moment is eternity." The weaver resumed her work, her hands moving steadily, her focus unbroken, her face glowing with quiet satisfaction as she wove. She weaves not for recognition, but for contribution, trusting that her efforts will ripple onward, touching lives beyond her own, Buddha said. The disciples watched her hands, their movements unhurried, guided by patience, each thread aligning with purpose, forming harmony within the cloth. "Master, is it not frustrating to work endlessly, knowing one's lifetime will not suffice for completion?" a young monk asked. The meal was simple yet abundant, its flavors enhancing the sense of unity and gratitude shared among all present. As the day gave way to evening, the disciples and villagers gathered around a fire, its warmth uniting them in fellowship. Buddha shared stories of wisdom and compassion, each tale revealing a facet of truth hidden within life's countless experiences. A villager asked, "Master, how can we find peace when life is filled with struggles and hardships?" Buddha replied, "Peace is not found by escaping struggle." Buddha nodded, his answer flowing like the breeze. "Indeed, Ananda, our lives are threads within existence, each action contributing to a greater whole unseen. The tapestry we weave is infinite, carried onward by those who follow, shaped by impermanence yet rich with purpose," Buddha explained. The weaver paused again, her eyes scanning the cloth before her, her expression peaceful, then resumed, her focus unwavering yet serene. In her pause, too, lies meaning, a moment of reflection entwined with purpose. Preparing her spirit for the threads ahead, Buddha said, "Like the flame, life dances and changes. It is beautiful because it is impermanent." Buddha crouched beside the loom, his posture humble yet profound, his voice calm yet carrying the weight of universal truth. Peace emerges not from permanence, but from embracing impermanence. Trusting the contributions we offer will ripple onward unseen, Buddha replied. Buddha concluded, "Do not seek perfection, for imperfection holds truth. The lotus grows from mud, yet blooms radiant and pure. Her hands do not cling to each thread, yet each thread carries the depth of her purpose, intertwining life within it," Buddha explained. The disciples watched the cloth, its patterns forming beautifully, each thread distinct yet contributing seamlessly to the greater whole. Within each thread lies its own story, unfinished yet meaningful, bound to others by intention, forming unity through impermanence, Buddha reflected. The weaver paused to adjust the loom, her movements unhurried, her attention fully present with the threads aligning before her. Buddha said, "Stillness reveals truth, In stillness, you hear the voice of the universe echoing within your own soul. Master, are we not also weavers? Threading lives together, shaping existence beyond our comprehension? Kema asked, his tone thoughtful yet inspired. Buddha answered softly, indeed, Kema, we weave through each moment, offering threads unseen yet shaping the infinite tapestry of existence. The cloth she weaves mirrors our lives, intricate yet unfinished, full of purpose even in its impermanence, Buddha explained further. The weaver smiled, her hands continuing their steady rhythm, her movements aligned with the peace that Buddha's words carried. Do not search for permanence, my disciples, for impermanence teaches us beauty within the act. Within the unfolding itself, Buddha taught. The loom creaked again, its sound blending with the gentle rustle of leaves, echoing the harmony shaping life's infinite rhythm. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video. The weaver watched them go, her hands steady upon the loom, her cloth growing yet unfinished, woven with purpose unending. Another day began its quiet transformation, carrying within it the teachings of Buddha and the infinite threads shaping existence. Even if unacknowledged, it plants seeds of hope and transformation. His teachings reaffirm the value of selfless actions, untethered from external validation. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.